I'm Sharon Davidson. Welcome to my show, Uplevel Your Life with Sharon. I'm an ICF certified coach with over 20 years of holistic practice. This podcast is your toolkit for transformation. I offer practical strategies to improve your relationships, well-being, and overall happiness. If you're struggling with low self-esteem, lack of energy, or feeling stuck, you're in the right place. Let's up-level your life together. Welcome back, everybody. So I have a wonderful guest here today, Ani Papazyan. Ani and I have been friends and colleagues for the last 15 years.
Longer, 20
Longer.
years.
I met Ani at a networking event when I lived in LA. So Ani, how are you?
Hello, Sharon. Fantastic. Thanks for having me here.
I love having you here. I love seeing you. I love spending time with you. And I love your wisdom and your expertise. I got to spend some time with Ani about a couple of weeks ago, and we played with some tools and things, so that was fun. Ani, tell our audience about you, who you are, what you do.
Well, I'm going to keep it brief. I am a pain resolution practitioner. What means is usually I see clients that have body pain. And most of the time, they have already gone to a bunch of different practitioners, doctors, and their pain keeps coming back. And they usually, by referral, most of the time end up in my office. And as a pain resolution practitioner with a bachelor's in kinesiology and medical massage and the toolbox of variety of modalities, I try to figure out what the root cause of their pain is, how to fix it to give them permanent, lasting results.
I love that. I want to share with the audience that last year, coincidentally, Annie and I were in Las Vegas together at the same time, and I fractured my foot. And I called Annie, and she said, come over straight away. And she taped up my foot and did some infrared laser on it. So I was very grateful that you were there immediately to help me. Annie, when you say referral, who are the people that refer you? Is it medical practitioners that refer you, or word of mouth, friends?
Both friends, clients. I've been in practice for over 30 years. So, throughout the years, I've helped thousands of people. So I'm very grateful that even though sometimes I haven't seen clients for years, they still refer me. There's friends, family, and some practitioners, doctors, dentists do refer me clients, their patients.
Right. So I've experienced you through the years with different things. A while back, when I had neck pain, you did a few very interesting exercises with me. And different, because I've been working with pain in the body, the new word somatic. Everyone now, but it's not different from what we've been doing, right? It just has a different word of basically tapping into the body and saying that pain really sits in the body. And you did some exercises, but I also came to your workshop a few weeks ago, and you did some very interesting things, and you said something that I don't know that I knew before. You were talking about the neck and the tongue. Can you talk a little bit more about that? It was fascinating. The exercises were really interesting, and so I'm curious. I don't think that it's something that I've experienced a lot of people knowing about.
Yeah, that's what kind of separates me. And that's one of the reasons when I, work on a client hands-on that they come to my clinic or over Zoom, or even when I do the workshops, is a lot of times where you feel the pain, it's not what the source of the pain is. And you know that from your throughout the years of working with your own clients.
Right.
So the whole idea is trying to figure out where the pain is coming from, what is their pain pattern. And
Right.
It's like almost being a body detective because
Mm-hmm.
there is funny story. 2 days ago, I was referred a new client, and she texted me saying, how do you work? What's your process? And my answer to her was, I don't have a process of that I can tell you I do one, two, three.
Mm,
My process is I ask you questions, and based on your answers, a lot of times the answers you give me gives
mm,
me the pattern of where your pain is starting or why,
mm-hmm.
and tells me what do I need to work on. But there is a huge connection of the neck pain and the tongue, which nobody ever pays attention to. Or even the clients, they're like all surprised. They're like, I was warned about you that you are going to be doing some weird stuff, especially with my tongue. What kind of work is this? I've never heard of it or experienced it.
Yeah,
But
agreed.
there is a major connection with your tongue, your neck, and it's just not just on your neck. There is a huge connection of your tongue to your whole body. Because I can tell you sometimes in my office, a client comes to me with a lower back pain or hip issues, and I check their jaw because I just would check them from bottom to top, from their toe to your head to their head, and I see the jaw is really tight. So I would do jaw and tongue release, and then I'll go back and check their lower back. And most of the time, the sensitivity is gone. And the client has this surprised look on their face like, are you touching the same spot, or are you putting the same pressure like you did at the beginning? Like, what just happened?
Yeah.
That's the beauty and the amazing part of the body, that everything is connected.
Everything's connected. So it's funny. I'll use my kids as an example. When I would say to, let's say one of them would say to me, I have a headache. And I would say, give me your foot because I'm a reflexologist. And they'd say, the pain's in my head, not in my foot. But I do want to bring up something that I was having a conversation with somebody yesterday about AI and saying how people go to AI for everything. And talking about this specifically is that part of intuition where, if somebody came to me with an elbow pain and I would intuitively put my hand on their shoulder or their spine and say where the pain is not the origin of the pain.
Mhm.
So I think that's what we're talking about, how everything is connected. I also got a new client yesterday, and I was trying to determine what her belief system was that was outside of the box, because intuitively straight away she's going for surgery, and my feeling is that there's a lot of energy that is stuck associated
Mhm.
with what happened with the incident that caused the trauma. So yes, so talk more. Tell us more about the tongue. Tell us more about the overall body connection, some more of the weird things that you do. And at some point, I'm going to have you give the audience an exercise. But tell us more because it's
Okay.
fascinating.
So, yeah, like I said, the body is such an amazing thing that everything is connected. But what makes the tongue such a integral part of, I would say over 90% of the clients, I am going to work on your tongue. 5 cranial nerves innervate in your tongue. So it affects what it does, the effect can it have on your overall body. Your nervous system is massive.
Right. There's a lot of
Yeah.
buzz about the nervous system.
Yes. Well, there's also a lot of buzz about nowadays. It's like everywhere you hear on YouTube, on Instagram is the fascia, like it was
Yeah.
just discovered. You
Yes.
know, I finished college in 1990. Yes, 1990. I finished college back home in Armenia, where I got my bachelor's in kinesiology. And, studying anatomy, physiology, fascia was part of what we study. It's nothing, being a medical massage practitioner, fascia is part of what we address on the body. But now when you hear all these videos, like it was the newly discovered thing that, oh, your pain is because your fascia is tight. Yeah, you work on the muscles, you stretch the muscles, but you're not addressing the fascia. It's nothing new. And at the beginning, one of the things you said is they come up with new names. Like someone will come up to me or send me a message, oh, have you heard of this technique? So I go check it out. It's the same thing, the same modalities that we learned 30 years ago. It's just someone very creative that came up with a new name, fancy it up, and put it together, this whole beautiful package, and it's charging you arm and a leg. And you're just like, oh my God, this is a miracle that was just discovered.
So I was telling someone yesterday, my mother was born in China and my grandparents were yoga teachers. But I grew up with my mother saying, if you've got a pain somewhere, take a tennis ball, put it into a panty, like a stocking or a sock, and then use it to roll out the pain in your body. Before the foam rollers came about, before any of that was even this big thing where, you need every different tool, that was what we had. Well, that was what we used, the tennis ball to roll the fascia,
Yeah.
right? And
Well,
and before, just to tell you one other thing about posture and stuff, in my brain, before these contraptions came out, we used to use bands to basically realign. And now you've got everything that people are marketing, good for them. But as you say, it's the same thing that's just repackaged.
yes. And remember, you used to also train. I think you
I was I was, I
used
was a personal trainer
exactly.
and a
So
group fitness
a
instructor.
few years ago, remember how the kettlebells became this magical things? They have this different size of kettlebell. Well, growing up in Soviet Union, being a professional athlete, we had to do all these physical trainings and stuff. The kettlebells were like thrown in the side of the gym. No one was even paying attention to
Yeah.
it because if you go back and look at in the late 1800s, early 1900s, athletes used kettlebells. They weren't the colorful, fancy with the
Yeah.
weights on them, beautifully printed. But so when it became so popular, I was like, oh, what's the big deal? We used to use them when
Right.
I was a child,
Right. Well,
you know?
there's another whole conversation about everything sitting in the universe and bringing it down, right? And you seeing everything being repurposed, everything just, yeah, and it crosses the spectrum of everything,
Yeah.
information, or, yeah, yeah. Tell us more about the nervous system and how you work with.
So, great example. So I have this client who I see him, he lives abroad. So whenever he comes in town, I see him. And yesterday he came in and I started testing his body, and he was very, his reflexes, like the withdrawal and startup reflex, were very heightened. And even he goes, oh my God, everything is so sensitive. He goes, under so much stress. So for me, as a practitioner, as a medical massage therapist, I'm not going to go and, but his issue was complaint was lower back, the knee, and between shoulder blades, neck, and the jaw. I'm thinking, okay, that's a lot of stuff. And he didn't have any injury, any trauma, any accident, and everything is crazy sensitive. So I'm like, okay, his nervous system is very upregulated. And so when your nervous system, due to stress or trauma, whatever, it doesn't have to be anything huge that happened in your life. Little things put together will accumulate, right? Yeah, and you see that with your clients.
Absolutely.
So when your nervous system is upregulated, your pain perception heightens. Even the small little things may come off like, oh my God, it's so painful, which in actuality, it's not. So me in the office, what I would do, the first thing, I would try to calm down your nervous system. And there's a variety of techniques. And I can't say I do this one technique with everyone. I don't know. And I cannot tell you which technique I'm going to use with each client because
Right. Depends on what
it's just
presents.
at the moment, exactly. I would think, okay, this technique would work better with this client. Or sometimes, if they've been a client for a long time, sometimes they learn my techniques. So, which means I have to do something different to surprise them
Right.
because sometimes to calm it down, it needs the element of surprise.
Correct.
So that's what I did. I used on him two different techniques, and then I went back and tested his knee, behind the knee, his lower back, his upper like chest was just for the with the touch was extremely sensitive, and I'm like, oh great, it's calmed down. Now I can start an actual work.
Absolutely.
So yeah, and on my YouTube channel, you can check it out. I usually share different videos. So if you go, I'm sure there are several technique videos where I share, I teach you step by step how to do it. And you can try different techniques because one technique is not going to work for everyone.
Absolutely.
So go ahead.
And also, I think it takes a little bit of practice as well because it's not natural. Some of the things that you teach are not things that we do naturally.
No. You're right. You're right. And the stuff I teach, not everyone is going to have the same response. Like you were in my last workshop,
Yes.
and I'm very grateful because you came to help me out, which I was so grateful for it. There was a gentleman in that workshop, and afterwards, when I did a follow up, one of the things he said, a couple of the techniques, he had to rewatch the replay video of the workshop a couple of times, and it brought up a lot of emotional stuff for him,
Sure.
but it also helped him understand that his neck pain is part of his whole, he wants to be in control. But it all brought that up. And to me, it was like, wow, those techniques brought all that up.
Yeah.
Who knew? But I don't know how people going to respond to it, what may bring it up. I don't know, but it
Right.
can. So you
Right.
just kind of like open to it.
Yeah. And it's interesting that not everybody is, and that needs to be okay too, right?
Absolutely.
So, how many times have you heard people that have gone to practitioner or to medical practitioners and said, they're telling me that nothing's wrong and yet my body is in complete pain? I know, am I crazy?
So often, I can't even count how many times. Not only your lab tests look normal, the MRI didn't show anything, you're fine, or it's especially if you're a woman at the transitional stage of maybe you're going through perimenopause or in menopause, oh, it's just stress, or it's normal for your age. Just give it some time, it will go, or do some relaxation things, take yoga, whatever.
You know, what you brought up, and we discussed this too, so I'm just going to share it with the audience and be transparent. When I fractured my foot, it affected my life because I'm such an active person. I was teaching spin, I was walking on the beach every day, and it kind of took away my well-being, and it triggered an episode of Hashimoto. I knew that there was something wrong. I knew I could feel in my body. And yet, when I went to get tested, I tested fine for everything. Do you remember our conversation?
Yep, yeah.
And you were the one that said to me, have them check the
The antibodies.
the different things than they were checking. I just got lucky that they typically push back and don't want to do that, but they actually did. And it showed a little bit of an elevated, the levels were elevated. However, what I did was I spent time really going back into my body, seeing what was going on with me, clearing anything that was still stuck in my body and the emotions of what was brought up. And yeah, cleared the episode and I feel fine. But it was a lot of self body work of going in and really tapping in and checking what was happening and what it was still bringing up.
Yeah. But imagine you were very aware of your body. You
Correct.
are type of person that knows her body and very aware of the small changes. I'm the same way. But not everyone,
No.
unfortunately, is like that. And sometimes people, they want quick gratification. Give me a
Right.
pill, I just numb it,
Correct.
and that's it. But the downside of it is when you numb it, then I can't address it. Or what I do is not going to
Correct.
work. So
Correct.
sometimes I would ask the client, and this is if it's possible, if you're taking a painkiller or something, can you not take it the
Just
day you're going to come and see me?
correct.
Because I want you to fully be aware of what I'm touching, what I'm doing. I don't want your nervous system completely, dulled.
Well, then
So
you
you're
can't
not
see the
feeling.
benefit. You don't know. When I work with my clients, I'm like, let's acknowledge what's here now so that we can test when we've done the work to see if there's any change. So I think that that's
Exactly.
really important, right? I
Yep.
will tell you that there are a few people that I would want to send to you, and unfortunately, I know that they are not open enough to be willing to see something that's a little different. And that's okay.
It's
Everyone's
absolutely
exactly
okay.
where they are.
I have to tell you, years ago, usually the clients that get referred to me, they're pretty open-minded. They're like,
Right,
I've heard you do a lot of weird stuff and I love it. So I'm yours. Just do whatever fits. And I love those clients. They're just completely open, receptive of me and working with me and letting me do what I need to do.
right.
Only one time I remember years ago, a client came for neck pain, and I knew it was her job. She was clenching. She was very aware of that she was clenching. And I said, with your permission, I'm going to put gloves on, go inside your mouth and release. And she said, no. I said, okay, I'm going to try to do from outside what I can do, and let's see what happens. So we didn't achieve much of a progress. And then she called me a few days later. She wanted to book another appointment. I said, I would love to help you. I know I can help you, but you need to allow me to do the jaw release. If you're not going to allow me, you're going to be wasting your time and money
Right.
because it's not going to happen.
Yeah.
She allowed me. And that one session, we got rid of her neck pain because she allowed me to do the work. So yes, you're right. Not every
Love that.
client's going to be open to it, and it's absolutely okay. It's just
Absolutely.
as a practitioner, you know, it's for me, it would say, yeah, I want to see you and make the money because, as much as I love and I'm good at what I do, but I'm also in business.
Right.
This is a business. We need to make money. But I'm not going to take the client when I know I
Absolutely.
cannot help.
Absolutely. I do the same thing with clients. When
Yeah,
my clients say, oh my goodness, you're so amazing. And I go, I'm just the vessel. You're the one doing the work. And there are clients that are in front of me that I say, I'm giving you all the tools that I have. If you are not willing to go and implement them, you're wasting your money and your time. I don't want to keep taking your money.
exactly. Exactly.
So,
Yes. Yeah. The same thing. And it happened several times that I knew I wasn't the right practitioner for that person. I
right.
had the referral. I'm like, please go see them. And they're like, no, I just keep coming to you. I'm like, I cannot see you anymore
Right.
because I cannot consciously take, your time, your money, my time. And there's a little bit of ego involved also. I have to say that I don't want you to be complaining about your pain. And then you say, oh, I've been seeing Ani, but I'm still in pain. And people gonna think, well, Ani sucks.
Right. Well, no,
So,
yeah, absolutely.
so
And I think this referral is integrity, right? Is to say, I know when I can help you
yeah,
because I trust the universe to bring me who's supposed to be in front of me.
true.
I know that I can, I know that I've taken you as far as I can take you and you need to go to Ani now. And I think that we should, as practitioners, and being the being part of ICF, and I was the president of the San Diego chapter, and also just going by the ethics of the International Coaching Federation. It's really knowing when you can help somebody and when you need to refer them. I think that's really important. And I think for you too, it's a matter of where do you come in? When do you send them to a doctor?
Hmm.
When do you work on them? But I think I've also heard you say that you collaborate. So it can be this and that instead of this or that. It can be a combination of doing stuff.
Exactly. And I'm glad you brought that up because that's where I was going to head to is having the collaboration of open-minded doctors that, okay, when I referred my client to you, I know you're going to help. So when the client comes back to me, you took care of the part that I couldn't address.
Yes.
Now, what I do is going to work so much better. So it's not like, oh, if I send my client to you, you're going to steal them and the client will never come back. Which, if that happens, it's okay because the bigger picture is within business, within this industry. Um, most of the time people get into the industries like ours because they truly want to help people. It's not
Absolutely.
oh, I'm getting in this industry because I'm going to charge, going to turn $1,000 an hour and
Absolutely.
make the money. It's like, no, we get into this industry because we love helping people. It's almost a calling.
Absolutely.
So the collaboration is the key.
Absolutely. This client is supposed to go for surgery, and there's a part of me that thought maybe you don't need to go for surgery, but you know what? I never verbalized that. It's let's see what happens. Let's just see what happens.
Mhm.
Let's take it step by step, and one foot in front of the other, and see what happens when
Yeah.
you come to me. But at least I know, at the very least, they will go into surgery with a different mindset because they're open and willing to do the work. So even if the shift is the mindset about the surgery, the healing will take place differently because the body will be holding on to different emotions,
Absolutely.
releasing, experiencing, anticipating, all of that.
And that's the huge, huge part of the healing process.
Correct.
Yeah.
Can we give our audience an exercise?
Okay, sure. Let's see. Well, since stress is one of the biggest things, there are a few things you can do to calm your nervous system down. And I'm going to give you a variety of approaches, and people can try it and see what works best for you. Because, like I said, not one is going to fit everyone's purpose.
Exactly. Just remember, sorry to jump in before you start, we have a viewing audience and a listening audience. So if you show
Yes,
me something, please make sure that you cover it so that the people that are listening to it can follow along, if that's okay.
of course. It's that's exactly what these exercises are.
Okay.
So when your nervous system, you've heard of vagus nerve stimulators or vagus nerve, which is your parasympathetic, is the calming relaxation part of your nervous system. It's your
Yes.
10th cranial nerve. And so it runs from your brain, both sides of your neck, all the way down, like passes your heart and to your digestive tract. That's why whenever you're stressed, your heart starts beating faster. Your digestion just kind of gets all weird. Some people have issue eating, or some people overeat it when they're stressed. So this technique is stimulate your vagus nerve. There are a few ways you can do loud singing. The best thing in a shower, I sing, I sound amazing. Loud singing that stimulates your vagus nerve.
I do it in the car.
Oh, sometimes, even though the passing cars may look at you and they're like, okay, she's crazy. Gargling. Gargling also stimulates. My favorite one is humming.
Yes.
Humming, that vibration stimulates. Dancing. All these are the simple, you may think, okay, that's so stupid. A lot of times the simplest things that sound pretty stupid they work the best.
Absolutely.
These are just a few things that you can do to calm down your nervous system with the stress. Walking barefoot on anything nature, grass, dirt. Sometimes I actually did a quick reel the other day. In the morning, I'm a very early morning person. I made my latte and I went barefoot outside, standing on the patch of dirt that I have. And I'm like, oh, you know what? Let me just do a quick video. Standing on dirt, patch of like dirt, grass, whatever, like I said, nature, 10, 15 minutes would not only have a very calming relaxation, it's earthing, it's grounding, it balances your circadian rhythm, which is your day and night cycle. It's great for your immune system. So a variety of things you can do to calm your stress, calm your nervous system down. This is just one of the things. But nervous system is such an important part when it comes to pain relief, especially chronic pain.
Absolutely. I know how I feel and which is part of why I went into this decline when I couldn't walk on the beach, is when I go, I can feel the difference when I walk on the beach. I'm walking on the wet sand or kind of in the water. And from the time that I start, if something's going on, the shift is incredible. It's just, I feel completely different, even after walking for half an hour or 15
That's what I'm going
minutes.
tomorrow morning with my friends. We're going down to Zuma Beach.
Nice.
To walk on the beach on the sand. So it's going to be beautiful.
I love it. Ani, you're amazing, and we could spend hours here.
Yes.
You've got an upcoming workshop. Tell the audience about what the workshop's about. You have them, they're ongoing. So tell them what they can experience and then where they can find you.
Yes. So thank you so much for giving me the opportunity to talk about this workshop. In this, our last half an hour, we've been talking about neck pain, jaw, tongue, the connection. And a lot of times people would think, what is the connection? Well, that's what my workshop is about, the signal. What is the connection to your neck pain, to your jaw, to your tongue and nervous system? And in this live workshop, which is capped only 15 to maximum 20 people, on July 22nd, where I teach you to feel that connection to all these systems that we think are individual systems. So you actually will recognize the connection. And then I'll teach you self-help techniques that you do it, you feel it right away. And the best part is you can not only have those techniques in your repertoire that you can use it when needed, but you can teach a friend or a family member when the opportunity comes up.
Absolutely. I wish that I had known these techniques growing up when I clench, grind. It would have saved me a lot of pain and right. And so even with people with TMJ or the grinding, this would be
Oh, absolutely. One of the stories, you heard it when I had my workshop, is the email I got from a client. She said her son woke her up middle of the night with neck pain. And she said, I remember a couple of the techniques you taught me. because I walked him through it and it worked. And as a mother, she goes, I was so proud of myself. I felt like the coolest mom.
Yeah.
And I was extremely proud of her that she remembered those techniques and within seconds was able to help her son middle of the night.
Love that.
So,
Where can our audience find you?
well, my website is last stop for, and it's a numeric for pain.com, laststopforpain.com. And
Last, L-A-S-T.
yeah, LASTSTOP number 4 PAIN.com. And over there, like I said, I have also a YouTube channel, which my handle is @livepainfree. And I have a bunch of videos, but I hope you guys will join me in my July 22nd live workshop.
Yes, it's amazing and very, very beneficial. Ani, thank you for being here. You're
Thanks for having
amazing.
me.
Thank you. And I look forward to seeing you in person soon.
Yes.
And thank you everyone for being here and see you soon. Thank you. Bye. Thank you for listening. Remember, transformation comes from action, not just knowledge. What will you apply from today's episode? Visit www.sharonsavitson.com for more resources. If this helped you, please subscribe and share. Let's up level together.